Kilo Echo 6, Quebec Kilo testing.
K0DWC Chuck. Here is NU6F. Good morning, Richard. Sounds good.
Yeah, NU6F KE6QK. Yeah, looks like we're going to have a clear frequency. The church guys are pretty good getting off the air at 7 o'clock. They were coming in here really strong on 3975, really tweaking the S meter. Anyway, everything's good. Thought I'd check in this morning. I don't know what kind of weather we're going to have. I've been a lazy old man this week. I don't go out in any Hawaii pineapple specials, if you know what I mean. You didn't get too much in Reno, but I don't know. We had wind going on and moisture and stuff, so I just goofed off. That's good to hear you, Ron, and we'll wait for the net. The new 6F KE6QK.
W6A Bull Queen Uncle.
And there's Bob. Okay, good deal, Rich. Bob? Everyone's sounding good on a clear channel. Good morning.
Well, I heard somebody in there. Good morning.
Yeah, it was light on the mic switch. Good morning there, Dave. Boy, the little sprinkle of rain must have taken care of any line noise out here. Man, I don't think I've ever heard the band this quiet.
Well, good for you. Yeah, well, man-made noise is pretty quiet around here. I'm hearing other stuff. I was hearing, were you hearing that CW station? I think it was VI4T, over and over and over.
No, I didn't have the BFO on. I'll tweak it on and see. If he's there, it's got to be weak.
Yeah, it was.
W6SSP. Yeah, I got to see that
VIV, but this is a little longer. It was VI4T.
Yeah, I hear him in there now. And good morning there, Steve. And you, 6F.
Morning, Ron. Morning, Dave. Yeah, hey, how's this thing sound? I fixed it. It died last week during the net, and just want to make sure it still works.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good here.
All right, guys. Hey, glad to hear it. I'll stand by for the net. W6SSP.
Yeah, we're on your 15 over in Fallon, and Steve's a good S9 from Santa Rosa here in Fallon, KE6QK.
Okay, good deal there, Rich. Yeah, you're also stronger than normal. Either that or it's just the noise is down low. I'm going to look at the S meter again and see where it normally was sitting. Okay, I don't know if it's Chuck or Henry this morning, but somebody of us should show up.
Yeah, well, you were just under 20 over that time.
Yeah, so far Ron here, the strongest here. How strong is the Montague beacon over there, Ron?
Yeah, I'm hearing that, hearing that CW2. Yeah, it sounds like a beacon that's on somewhere. It ain't here. Good morning there, Bob.
Yeah, Bob, you're 5 over 9 in Fallon.
Yeah, bad has not opened up yet, Rich. Only about 3 or 4 here on the Oregon border. The 7 watch doesn't make it to Fallon. But the band has not opened up yet, Rich.
Now you got the 3-500Z on.
Oh, you can tell, huh? Yeah, it's only a single. That way the other one will be a spare.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. At first when I heard that you were Q5, but I thought, you must be running QRP today. Well, we didn't get much except for the mother of all storms here was really not much more than a couple of sprinkles the last couple of days, but you know, that's all you get in Nevada for gully washers. It's just sprinkles.
Well, we were supposed to have a big one here, and I did not go to Recreal yesterday because of the rain going up and back, so talking to someone that did go, it was not that bad. It was just a typical Oregon mist. They had a good turnout, but other than that, I don't know what all transpired.
Okay, so it wasn't that much up there either. Alrighty. Well, good deal on all. I'm going to, I don't know if it, like I say, I don't know if it's Chuck or Henry this morning, but there's enough of us here for a quorum already. All right, I'll stand by, and you 6F.
Good morning, fellas. K0DWC. I've been listening, and I've got all you guys down so far.
Okay, good morning, Chuck.
Everybody sounds really good. Ron, you sound great. Rich sounds great. Bob is strong. Dave is strong. And Steve sounds really good.
Well, everyone sounds good, but Chuck, it sounds like you got a cold. I hope you didn't get it from me.
No, I don't have a cold. I just, you know, I didn't get up when I was supposed to get up. So, you know, it's called the mad dash. Anyway, I'm here, so I'll give the rundown here in just a second. So you guys stand by for just a second.
Good morning, Howard. Good to hear you this morning.
Okay, excuse me. I guess we can go ahead and at least get started anyway. We got enough, I think, to start the first round. So good morning to all. This is a Vintage Military Radio Net. This is K0DWC, and I'm Chuck, and I'll be your next control this morning. And we'll be operating on 3.974 megacycles. Vintage Military Radio Net's a roundtable AM net that provides an opportunity for licensed hams to operate their vintage military radio gear on the air. Military gear is encouraged, but certainly not a requirement, and check-ins will be given a number that can be used in the handoff. And I'll call for check-ins at the end of each roundtable session. If anybody has anything for sale or has a want, please mention it during your turn in the roundtable session. So, the order in which I've heard everybody so far is Ron, NU6F, you're in the number 1 spot. Rich, KE6QK, you're in the number 2 spot. Number 3 is Bob, W6AQU. Number 4 is Dave, W6MQI. And number 5 is Steve, W6SSP. So let's see if there's anybody else out there that wants to be number 6. Come now. Okay, well, I don't hear anything. Let me try one more time. Anybody want to be number 6 for the British Military Radio Net? Come now. Okay. Well, I'll do the rundown real quick with the call letters. NU6F in the number 1 spot, KE6QK in the 2 spot, W6AQU in the 3 spot, W6MQI in the 4 spot, and W6SSP in the 5 spot. So good morning, gentlemen. I don't know how cold it is outside. It's a little bit chilly, but it's not too bad. Looks like it's going to be a variably cloudy day today, but I think it's supposed to be like 52 is the high, but I don't know what the temperature is now. It's probably in the 30s, but looks like it overall will be a pretty decent day. But anyway, we're on the standard control station this morning, ART-13, 200 watts, D104 microphone, and listening on the R45 ARR7 receiver, and I've got an LS3 speaker hooked to that. So I guess I should have headphones on that particular one, because that is a surveillance receiver, but I cheat a little bit, that'd be all right. But anyway, that's the rundown, and we're right at about 200 watts. So that's a rundown here, and we'll get started, and we will send it over to Reno to Mr. Ron, NU6F in the group. And you're sounding good, Ron. K0DWC.
Okay, good deal. Well, I'm waiting for Mike, the voice of Golden Valley, to show up. Right now, I'll have to hold down Reno myself. Okay, good deal on the checking us out on the surveillance receiver. Well, I got no surveillance receiver here. The R390A and the T3 running 350 watts carrier and 170-foot long wire. Same old, but like I said, it's the band is really quiet here locally. My local QRM of customer noises and stuff like that seems like it's way down. Let's hope it holds up. Okay, with that, over to Fallon. Take it away, Rich. KE6QK, NU6F.
W6JRY.
Yeah, good morning. I'm getting closer to the microphone this time. NU6F, KE6QK. Well, a rundown, not much going on here. It's 34 degrees. The Fallon hole is open. If you don't know what the Fallon hole is, we have complete sunshine. I haven't been outside very much, but looking out the window, I don't see any clouds out there. We're running the usual DX100B on an EFLW, about 18 feet high, running out the back lawn. Receiving on an IC7300 on a dipole in another location. What I wanted to pass along, I don't know if you guys are on the internet, but Johnny N9AMI put our whole net on on YouTube from last week. That was a long net, it was like 2 hours long. But what was good about it, I could watch the modulation on his super radio. That's why I'm closer to the microphone. I evaluated my signal as not enough audio, and I'm using, from the old days, I'm using a rock and roll audio microphone, full frequency, and if I back away from it, I don't modulate completely. So we're talking mil-spec now, 2 inches away from the microphone, as I used to teach in school. 2 inches away, and you'll modulate really well. Anyway, that's about it. We'll turn it over to Bob, and the signals are really good. There is some silly sideband in there, I'm hearing, but the signals are so strong that we can get through it okay. W6AQU, KE6QK. Pick it up, Bobby.
Okay, Rich. This is W6 Able Queen Uncle. Well, good morning, y'all, so far. Sherry checked in there as number 6 and really the loudest station. Steve, you're holding your own. Dave's a little weak this morning. And Chuck, you were actually getting clobbered there for a while by there's a sidemander up a few KCs, and he was really spitting on you pretty bad. Well, the rain has subsided here in Montague, and we got a red sky, so that means we're going to be in trouble today, I guess. Anyhow, that's about it. Over or down to Livermore. W6MQI. W6AQU.
All right, W6AQU. W6MQI. Yeah, good morning to all. Everybody sounding good here. Even Rich, you're doing good in Livermore. Usually a little on the weak side for me, but sounding good this morning. And good morning to Jerry as well, checking in there. And well, it's about 42 degrees here, and got some clouds in the sky, but I guess it sounded like it rained all night last night here. Pretty wet outside. And we're on the TCK this morning. We're about 100 watts of carrier up to my inverted V. So that's the lowdown here. So let's see, over to Steve, W6SSP, W6MQI.
Okay, thank you, Dave, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the net, Chuck. Good to hear you on. A little QSB on your signal today, but otherwise things are pretty good. Loading a little slower for a change. I've been fighting extremely heavy noise off and on all week, actually for the last couple of weeks, so, but it's okay so far. Anyway, I went off the air last week, last Sunday, and the problem turned out to be well, initially it was a blown 3-amp fuse in the 32V1, the low voltage power supply, and put another one in just to try to get back on the air. Of course, it blew too. Yeah, well, I'm glad they put good fuses in these things, separate one for the high voltage and the low voltage. Anyway, the problem turned out to be a shorted 1N, what is it? I don't know, solid-state rectifier. 1100 volts. It should not have blown. It was in the 240 volt supply in this thing. It should not have gone bad, but it did. So I replaced it, put 2 of them in series this time. So we'll see if that holds up. Anyway, this is Steve in Santa Rosa, running the usual 32V1 Collins transmitter, 75A1 receiver, into a resonant dipole on this frequency, about 30 feet up, D104 microphone. And Jerry, I heard you in there, so I don't know if Chuck did, so let me turn it over to you. W6JRY, W6SSP.
WA7YBS.
W7MS.
Okay, W6JRY. I guess I got it. Let's see here. Yeah. Slow AGC on the 75A4 here. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I tried to check in there, but I had to leave here a minute. I got some problems with my pellet stove, which all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but the igniter went out on the thing, and it's very difficult to start with trying to manually start it. And I thought I had it going, and it wasn't. So, anyway, I'm not sure. It was Henry and somebody else that checked in there, too. Chuck, I'll just put it back to you, and you can line it up or tell me where I'm at, and I'll be back in the next round, I hope, but I got to go see if that thing started. If not, pellets are going to be running out all over the place. W0, go ahead and take it, Chuck. I'll be standing by.
Okay, Jerry. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys, for doing the progression down. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you, Steve, for sending that over to Jerry. I got Jerry in the number 6 spot. And good morning to you, Jerry. And I heard Henry in there, number 7, WA7YBS. Good morning, Henry. And I heard Mike, W7MS, in the 8 spot. Good morning, Mike. Just real quick, let me see if there's anybody else out there before I hand it back over there. Anybody like to be number 9? Vintage Military Radio Net, come now. There he is. I was starting to worry about him. Bill, I've got you in the number 9 spot, sir, N6BT. Good morning, Bill. Anyone else want to be number 10? Come now. Okay, nothing else heard. So, Jerry, were you? Thank you for letting me do that. Did you want to say some more in your transmission here on the first round? If you do, go. By all means, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything yet, so I'll turn it over to Henry there. W7YBS and the group W6JRY.
Okay. W6JRY, WA7YBS, and yeah, sounds like I hear a little feedback somehow, but we won't worry about that too much. And I'm tweaking and peaking at the same time. And okay, that looks a little better. Good morning to all. So far I've heard everybody. Q5 signals, no problem. And a little bit of adjacent frequency stuff, but that's because, well, I'm on the 51J4 for a receiver, and it does not have the 6KC mechanical filter. This 51J4 has the Collins installed LC coupler in there. It gives you about, I don't know, at least 8-9 KC bandwidth. So it's an improvement for the sound of AM in the 6 KC position, but it's not an improvement for selectivity, but that's okay. And so anyway, this is the receiver is the 51J4, the one with the light gray front panel, Collins asset number on it and all that stuff. So that's that. And the transmitter is the little rig, W6MIT 1625 rig, running 75 watts of carrier power to a collinear array antenna. It's 43 degrees this morning, clear skies, so everything is just fine. So let me turn it over to Mike, W7MS, WA7YBS.
Well, thank you, Henry. WA7YBS and the Vintage Sunday Morning Military Net, W7MS, Mike and Reno. Well, good morning to one and all. And I'm a little late. I heard Ron's comment as number 1. He is the voice of Reno. Totally. But this morning running the usual but unusual for this frequency, the Ten-Tech Orion 2, the Alpha 87 AC amplifier, about 350 watts of carrier. but I guess both the commonality between the Orion and the Alpha, they were both pickups from the N7 RCA swap meets in the past, so that's the both as tech specials, so that's the situation here. Good signals, limited to 6 kilohertz bandwidth, Henry, so I have no ability to hear that other station, but any adjacent frequency activity, but 75 watts in the J4, I'm sure is doing well on this end and your end also. And nothing else to add except good morning to Ron, to Rich, Bob, Dave, Steve, Jerry with his igniter issues. I feel your pain. I always keep a spare igniter on hand. I go through about one per season, and usually the timing for the igniter failure really sucks, and it looks like you're in the same situation. And we'll turn it over to Bill, N6BCT W7MS.
Bravo, Charlie Tango. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's only for the 29 minutes. Well, let's back over to the U.S. compare.
Back to net.
Well, I can hear you guys.
Okay, I heard him coming in just fine, and all of a sudden he disappeared, and then he came back, and then he disappeared again. Wasn't sure if he was still talking or not, but I think that was I think that was Bob that relayed that to me. Thank you, Bob. All right, well. Again, good morning to the bottom half of the net this morning. Jerry, Henry, Mike, and Bill. And, everybody's coming in really well. Even Bill's coming in good. I don't know why there was a little glitch there a couple of times, but with Bill, but he did come back. But anyway, all right. Well, very good. Hopefully this will hold up for a little while. But let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I heard that CW signal also earlier at CI4T. And, yeah, that, I guess, I don't know, are you familiar with that? Is that a beacon or what? I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard that on here. But that'd be interesting. I'll have to see about looking that up and see what it is exactly. But anyway, not a whole lot going on here right now. I'm still messing with some microphone stuff. I got some pieces coming from France, and I got some pieces coming from the Netherlands, so I won't be getting those till the end of the month. But dabbling in some microphone stuff, carbon microphone stuff, and a little bit of dynamic stuff. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I've gotten everything done I need to do here. Sam's waiting for parts, so I'm just waiting for parts to finish this little, I call it a mini project, so it's not no big deal really. I'm just curious about how certain things are going to work on certain stations I got here, so that's what I'm doing here. So with that, we'll continue, and we'll go to round 2, and we'll send it up to, as Mike says, the voice of Reno. When Ron's here. When Ron's not here, Mike is the voice of Reno. So NU6F K0DWC. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, good deal there, Chuck. And Bill, yeah, I heard the same thing. I heard you in and out. I didn't know what was happening. Mike, on the, I was trying to figure out, okay, how are you going to connect it to military? But you did, to the Brad swap meet. That's right. You got them both there. And They both were DOA, and now they're working just great. And Henry, okay, on the MIT 1625 rig, it was flashing on that. I wonder how many 1625 tubes were made back in the day. Talk about a ubiquitous tube. Boy, they were everywhere. Well, I don't think I've got that many of them left here. I probably only got 3 or 4. And Jerry, okay, on the igniter issue, gosh, I got a friend up by up in Bloomtown that got a new pellet stove. And what a confusing chain of menus that thing had on it. I was ready to go ahead and got the controller and put it back to some relays and to drive the motor. But if nothing else, you can always let me know, and I can sneak by Mike's place when I see him go out to Rayleigh's for shopping, and I'll see if I can rip off an igniter. And Steve, yeah, that's weird on the diode, especially a 1 kV diode blown. Oh well, blame it on PGA power spike. They're deep pockets. Well, the pocket's pretty empty by now. And good deal, Bob, on the KCK. And yeah, I was going to go ahead and fire up the TDE, but then I've had it on 40 CW this week, and it's such a chore to go ahead and throw all the band switches on that and the RAL and tweak and peak and turn the amp on, and I says, I'm lazy. I just throw the switch on the big gray box and it works. So the T3 instead. And I can't use the only bad thing is I can't use the loop on with the T3 because it's way too much power. The cap would be I'd be seeing St. Elmo's fire on the top of the loop. I pushed it to about 150 watts is the max that the loop will take. So so I'm stuck with the long wire. But it's not picking up much noise. It's sounding pretty good. And projects here, well, it was, I'm actually so bored, tired of it, I just want to get it finished. And that's the PRC 174 interface. I'm finally around to, got all the sheet metal parts and knobs and the rest. So I've been using the metal nibbling tool for square cutouts for a couple of BCD switches for my offsets, and oh gosh, being that it's all parallel data for the frequency, I got 22 control lines on the 66-pin Amphenol cable going in. Anyhow, it works just fine, and I'm really not having much fun. I got it painted yesterday. The house smells like olive drab that's been cooking in the oven. And other than that, working on Lucky Larry's truck on the M37, and my neck has got a heck of a crick in it from making up brake lines and some miscellaneous wiring to the high beam, low beam switch, but it's getting there. Yeah, the taste of victory is very close on getting the 1952 M37 Dodge up and running. Okay, with that, over to Fallon, KE6QK, and U6F.
Yeah, NU6F in the group KE6QK. Really loud. Oh, we have another good net going. Last week was really good. Today is really excellent. I heard Bill originally really good, and then he disappeared, and I was confused. I started tuning around. Then he came back again, so I don't know. Maybe he has a switch problem there. And Michael, Michael, you don't need that amplifier, okay? You don't need it. I don't know what you're doing up there. I think you're using a loop antenna. I don't know how high it is. But you were 30 over 9 down here. I don't know, maybe our antennas are hooked together or something. That's the loudest on the band. So, you know, you could go QRP and still be S9 or better. On the microphone issues, I have 2 silver D104s and a gold one. The gold one was a present from the Ham Club. Support them with the repeaters, and one year they bought me a gold D104. And the problem with that is I've got Japanese radios out in the Big Ham Shack, and every damn transmitter has a different connector on it. So basically I have 3 D104s, all the ends are diked off. I have the microphone kit, the little circuit board. If I could just get productive, I could build a D104, but I don't know which rig I would build it for. So we'll have to look at that down the road. And the 1625s. The DX100 here uses them for the modulator. When I was restoring it, I broke a plate cap off there, off a perfectly good tube. And sometimes those, the connector on the top of the plate cap is too tight. And I wrenched it, you know, left and right, and it snapped off, you know, after 70 years. Perfectly good tube. Luckily enough, I had a few of them in supply and got it going, but it's sure a heartbreak to break off the plate cap on a perfectly good 1625. Anyway, let's keep it moving here. Pick it up, Bob. W6AQU, KE6QK.
Very good. Yeah, the band's opening up now in your Q5, and good signal over here from Fallon. Well, let's see. Morning to Henry. And MS, yes, you're doing pretty good over here. And Bill, by golly, the Rolling Hills of Half Moon Day. Well, I only heard you once. And all of a sudden, you jumped in there and doing pretty good. When we need a MIT report, I wonder if you've talked to John here in the last week or so. I had talked to MKA here a while back, and he, as yet, had not talked with John. Let's see. I wanted to comment on something. Forgot all about it. It must not be very important, but I better move.
Hello, Bobby.
Bob Blue Fuse.
Should I go ahead and take it, Chuck?
Yeah, Dave, go ahead. Bob turned it over to you.
Oh, I just heard him went poof, and it was gone. I didn't hear him hand it over to me. Yeah, conditions are not too good out here. In fact, I was barely hearing Rich. He just about faded off in the distance. Not good for me. Anyway, let's see. What was I going to talk about here? The 10-tech Orion sounded good there, Mike. I'm actually going to be up in Steve's neck of the woods here probably next weekend. I have a ham friend up there he's inactive, but he has an Omni 6 Plus, a Titan 425 amplifier, and a 2 KW Tentec auto tuner, which I never knew Tentec made. But anyway, it's from an estate, a friend of ours who died maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And he's never used it. He asked if I wanted it. And I said, yeah, I'll come up and grab it. So I'm going to go up there and grab that stuff. And yeah, the igniter for your stove. Yeah, I got, never fails. It happens right when it gets cold, when you need it, the part fails. So I kind of have the same thing with our heater in the house here. There's a couple parts in there that seem to fail every couple of years, so I keep a supply of those on hand, so I can keep things running. And Chuck, yeah, I've never heard that CW before. This is the first time. I was copying VI4T, but that might not be. That's what I got anyway. No idea what that is. But projects here. I made a external TR switch for my TCK. So when I hit the push to talk on the D104, it mutes the receiver and turns on the power key to switch the antenna. The only problem is I'm getting some hot switching going on. The dial key is releasing before the transmitter stops, so I'm getting a spike on my SWR meter. So when I let up on the microphone, I'm holding with an insulated rod, holding the dial key down so that I don't get that hotkey spike. So I gotta work on that. I gotta put a delay on the dial key so it stays closed for a little bit longer, so I don't get that spike. But anyway, that's about all I got going here, and I'm not sure what's happening with the conditions, but I'm starting to lose everybody. So anyway, over to Steve. W6SSP, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave, very good. Yeah, good copy and nice, crisp, very, very crisp audio, as we talked about before. Yeah, it's a mental picture with you holding down the black camera. That's pretty good. We've all done things like that, I'm sure. I know I have. Anyway, I did want to comment on Mike's Orion 2 audio. It sounds fantastic. It really does. Wouldn't have expected that to be a solid-state rig. Your 1625 MIT rig also sounds fantastic. It has, I think, superior audio by a little bit over the big MIT rig. But that's just my opinion here. Anyway, good to hear everybody on. And conditions are a little flaky today. About the same as Dave is experiencing, but copying everybody so far, Q5. And let's see, projects this week, or actually the last couple of weeks since I wasn't on last week. I had the RA07 on the bench for a good week and a half, and playing around with that, exploring its operating characteristics, and it's completely stock. Using the original road filters and all the rough caps, it works very good. So I decided not to do any restoration work on that, other than replacing the volume control knob. Volume control, because the shaft was frozen. But that's it. Everything else is just in really, really nice condition, museum condition. I don't get many of those here. And added fun with that was connecting a BC1031B pan adapter to it. And the combination works fantastic. It really does. I have a couple of more rigs here that have pan adapters and built in. And the 1031 007 combination is better. Doesn't cover as wide of a band, but it also works quite well. So that was a blast. And let's see what else. Yeah, coming up, I'm going to put the OQ3 Navy tube tester from the 1930s on the bench tomorrow. it's got a stuck shaft in one of the pots, and I think I've got a blowing resistor and a selector, so I've got to dig into that a little bit. But those are very, very easy to work on, and cool instruments too. I've got two of them now, the OQ2 and the OQ3. They're pretty much identical, but pretty neat to have. So we'll send it over to Jerry, W6JRY, W6SSP.
Okay, okay, Steve, W6SSP, the group W6JRY. Well, good morning to all. Yeah, I agree. Conditions aren't that like they were the last couple of weeks anyway. Copying everybody, but quite a bit of QSB. Maybe it's getting daylight a little sooner, although that's only, minutes, I think. But, yeah, Bob just went away. I don't know what happened there. And everybody sounds good on what they're running there. And, yeah, Mike, well, I do keep spare igniters, and my spare igniter, when I put it in, it quit after it got started for about less than 5 minutes. A fuse blew on the control board, and so I took that igniter out, brand new, and checked it, and it, instead of reading 60 ohms, I think it's supposed to be, it was like 3 ohms or something. So I think there's something else going on in there. It was a brand new igniter, and it's a later model igniter. I've had 2 of those, and this one, the one that failed in the beginning, it just went open, and that's what my experience with has been with the other ones. The stove is a Harman stove, and there's an insert, and we've had it since 2016 or 17, something like that. And like you mentioned, yeah, the original igniter seems like I'd get about a year or 2 years on them, and then they would go out. But then I found that they had a better igniter online, so I replaced it with one of those, and it's lasted all up until a day or so ago. So I think there's something else going on in there, and unfortunately they don't give you much of a schematic diagram on the stove. Kind of like this proprietary information or whatnot. So I don't know, it's something I got to troubleshoot. It's just been one of those weeks. Got some problems with the car, a few other things going haywire. Today's my wife Sharon's birthday, and so I'm going to have to get up there, I guess, and get that stove started somehow. It's real cranky trying to start it manually, mess around with some starting gel and so on. But the stove works along with the whole house setup. It just helps keep the temperature up in the front room most of the time. So, I was wondering about things when I kind of got woke up this morning. I looked through the curtains, and the sky was all red this morning. So I'm thinking, I'm worried about maybe I should go back to bed, the red sky in the morning thing. It's starting to look that way. Yeah, Henry, you sound great here on the MIT 75-watt rig. Doing a good job. Mike's on the 10 tech sounds good. I can hear Bill okay, but there is QSB there. So, over to you, Henry. WA7YBS in the group, W6JRY.
Okay, Jerry. W6JRY, WA7YBS. And just checking things over. Everything looks fine. Okay. There's really, really slow QSB on some signals. Dave started out really down there. Uncharacteristically, Dave is usually quite strong here. And in the course of about a minute or minute and a half, he was up to, pushing the carry level meter over 40 dB on the 51J4, which is quite a strong signal. So anyway, very slow QSB. And I heard Bob was, he just kind of, went off in mid-sentence. So we'll see what happened there. And let's see, RAO7s. That's a great receiver, isn't it? It's just, I have two of them. I've worked on others. And they're just, they're a tank. They're indestructible, almost. But they are not lightweights. I think that thing weighs about 75 pounds. And but at least you can take it out of the cabinet, and that lightens it quite a bit. But the few that I've worked on have all worked on all original parts. So that was just the way they were designed. No electrolytic capacitors in the RAO7, none. And it's all either paper wax or oil filled. So anyway, very good on the RAO7s. I like the RAO receivers. I think they're really good. And Steve, I also have one of those LQ tube testers, Weston, with the patch cords and all that stuff, and it does work. But man, it's a chore to test a tube with that thing. But it's still fun, to play around with it. But you wonder what those guys had to go through in World War II using those tube testers. They're big and awkward to use, but they are cool looking. And Dave and Jerry, thanks for the QSL cards. Those are very nice and appreciate it. And let's see, 1625 tubes. Yeah, I got a lot of them. And I think when I somehow, I don't know, I think maybe it was when I got the 1625 rig, I think there was, 6 spares tubes with it, I think. And of course, over the years, I don't know, I bet I have at least 20 spares. And I went through a whole bunch of them, selecting that, the absolute best that I could find when I went through this MIT rig. And I was able to get 5 more watts output power by selecting the tubes, so big deal. But at any rate, I can get 75 watts out of this guy with absolutely the best 1625s installed. So they were prolifically produced and had not much demand for them really after World War II, so a lot of surplus around, so that was good. And I think that's about it, so I'm going to turn it over to Mike, W7MS, WA7YBS.
Well, thank you, Henry, WA7YBS, and the Sunday Morning Military Net, W7MS. Well, good reception from all. I'm not really noting the QSB that stations have mentioned. I think conditions are pretty good, but then again, there's the, now that I've said something, things will shift gears on this end also from a receive standpoint, let alone the receive standpoint for the folks here in the round table. But good conditions to this point. Fine on all the comments on pellet stoves. I think generally I would call them extremely unreliable. I've become quite a bearing replacer, motor changer outer, and troubleshooter. And I think as far as Jerry's comments goes, I've had failures with igniters where they open. I've had them intermittent, and I've also had them short to the sleeve, the stainless steel sleeve. So I've had all 3 failure modes. The intermittent's great because it gives you a chance where you can ignore it for some time because it sort of kind of works. But yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know if anything that comes from China can be considered an upgrade, since that's where it's all sourced from these days. But other comments, Ron is into military rigs, whether they have tires or components. So good job on that. Thanks, Rich, on the pipeline comments. But we'll keep the alpha amplifier online because we need to make sure that adjacent frequency operators know that the frequency is occupied. Yeah, and I heard Bob drop out also, essentially in mid-sentence, saying he didn't have much to add, and it was a true statement, but I don't think he had planned the end of his transmission with that final word. And find Dave on the hall with 10 Tech. I'll be curious to find out what this auto tuner is, because I'm not familiar with that at all either. But congratulations on a new adventure, road trip, and in a haul back to Livermore. Great, Steve, on the RAO. And let me rearrange my foot switch here. And forgot to comment on the blown fuses and the bad diode, but doing well this morning. And Henry's commented on the RAO that it's bulletproof, and I guess one thing is old school capacitors. That means no electrolytics, and that hidden little surprise that we all know about when you scan the schematic to ferret out those electrolytics disguised as oil caps, metal oil caps. And let me see, Jerry, okay on Sharon's birthday, and you providing birthday assistance, let's say. And find Henry on the 1625s, and I guess yeah, a lot of that has to do probably with projected aircraft losses. They, as it does with all this World War II aircraft equipment, a high loss rate for the war planners there in the production facilities. And Bill Bill is having some issues. I'm not quite sure. At first I thought he didn't hear me, but maybe he didn't for the handoff. I'm a little confused on that. And between the two tube testers, we'll wait for Henry's and Steve's opinion. Is it the pre-World War II version that Steve and Henry are talking about, or is it the TV10? Which one is more labor-intensive to test a tube ad hoc? You know, when you want to test a tube as far as setup. And comments here. Chuck has obviously been busy on the purchase projects. Good for you. CW signal. I slept in this morning, hence my tail end Charlie status, but missed the CW whatever that was. But further comments, and this was my purchase that arrived yesterday, and that was a BC229 signal core, of course the equivalent to one of Henry's projects, but of course the Navy version. And I think I supplied him with a 229 carcass for his restoration efforts, but this showed up on the bay earlier in the week. The price was right. Had two coil sets. Obviously had been sold to NOS, and this was origin was out of Ohio, so you got to figure probably original seller was probably Fair Radio. So price was right. Shipping was ridiculously low. And so I made the snap up. So the story is, I got it going last night because I was really curious about the effects of a TRF radio on 75 meters. And took care of a few issues and tuned it over to 3870, and there was Frank Delachey talking to a station, Bob, up in the Pacific Northwest. So we, when Frank K0DWC finished his conversation, we jumped in and had a nice conversation with Frank up there in South Lake Tahoe. And of course we touched on you, Henry, and the 1625 and big rigs from Mr. Svoboda. And that was part of the conversation. Also, a little reacquaintance with Frank. It was nice to hear him on the air on his Johnson 500. So that's the story here. And yeah, TRF radios on 75 AM. Exciting stuff. So over to you, Bill. N6BCT, W7MS.
Hello, buddy, President from Bravo, Charles Tango. Now, put up the hood a little bit this way, so the signal should be a little bit stronger. But the mountain that was cleaned up and everything. So anyway, so that's the story here. Otherwise, sorry about that. Everything else is going pretty good. It's pretty get the thing working pretty quick. The KPS SDL did good, and the KFS SDL is not really good. And so I've got everything correct right now. So that's the story there. So back over to, let's see, where am I? K0DWC.
Okay, Bill. You were in and out there, but it wasn't you. I've got some QSB that it goes away and it comes back, and it goes away and it comes back. But when it went away, I could hear you fine. So anyway, I did hear you give me the handoff, though. So let's see here. Hey, Mike. That's good to hear that Frank's on the air. I haven't heard Frank in a long time, and we had a QSO with him some years back when he was still, well, he was out of Sacramento. He was in Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, and that was, yeah, it was pretty cool, you know, after he had moved there. But you know what you need to do if you talk to Frank again? You ought to tell him to pop in on Sunday mornings. You know, and it'd be good to hear him again. So I like Frank. He's a good operator. So if you talk to him, give him our best. And good on the BC 229. I'm not familiar with that rig, but I'm going to look it up and see what all's involved with that. That sounds interesting. And let's see. Gary, give Sharon our very best, and we want to wish her a happy birthday, and hope she's doing well, and you know, has good days. So give her our best. And Steve, I'm glad that your problem last week wasn't too awful bad. You know, excuse me. But anyway, Wade, you're back up and running good again. You sound great this morning. No problems. There is a little bit of QSB starting to creep in. Mike was full quieting. You know, Henry was full quieting, and Ron and Rich. The rest of them, they were Q5 copied, but starting to pick up QSB on the rest of the fellows. But hopefully we can get through this okay. And one more comment, Ron. When you get that PRC 174 all set up, let it shoot me an email or something. I'll do a test with you with that in my PRC 74. I run about 5 to 6 watts on that, and I figure, well, as close as we are, you probably hear me just fine, because when I was on Beeler's Net on Wednesdays, of course it was at night. I got through clear to Colorado on 5 watts on single sideband with that thing. So it would be kind of neat if we could try that, you know, when the conditions permit. So anyway, let me make a quick call. Is there anybody who wants to be a last-minute check-in for round 2? Come now.
W7MKA.
Hey, how about that? W7MKA. How's it going, man? Sound good, Robert. Go ahead and make a transmission and send it back up to me, K0DWC. W7MKA, go ahead.
All right. K0DWC and the group W7MKA. Well, good conditions here. I got 100% copy on everybody except Bill. Bill's just not making it this morning, but that's not unusual. Got to set the record straight. Just one time I've been over to see John. He lives right here in town at an assisted living from MIT, and I did visit it. But it's been a little while. I need to head back over there. We've been pretty busy with work here lately. I've been working up to Columbia, so it's a 7-hour drive up there Sunday afternoons, and a drive back at the end of the week. And so it cuts into my radio time. We had a ham fest up in Salem, our big our big Oregon ham fest here yesterday, and that was it was a good time. And military pickings were actually pretty good. There was a couple other milsurp guys that didn't make it, so cut down on the competition there. But yeah, I guess there's a OMSI, the Science Museum in Portland. They have a submarine, and the submarine has a radio club. And I guess they got turned out of one of their storage lockers on the boat there, and so they had a bunch of stuff, a bunch of Navy patch panels and some antenna couplers, and so we brought some of that back here. It's mostly a Navy shack here, so maybe we'll get that stuff all wired in. And for some reason, I brought home a WRR3, so I had a 2, and I thought, the 3 just belonged with it. So don't know what I'll do with it. I can log some beacons if we can get that one going. But yeah, it's a fun time. Welcome to Chuck. It's K0DWC to take it. W7MKA.
Okay, Robert, W7MKA, K0DWC. Well, it's good to hear you this morning here, my friend, and hang around for the third round here. You're sounding good this morning. All right. Anybody else want to check in last minute? Be number 11, Vintage Military Radio Net. Come now. Okay, guys. Well, the band's slowly starting to go, so there's 11 of us, so let's do a quick 7-3 round, and we'll call it a day after that. So we'll go back up to the top to Ron, NU6F, in the group, K0DWC.
Okay, good deal, guys. Yeah, the QSB was showing up, and then it kind of cleared up. And Robert, good hearing you in there from Grants Pass. Here, Bob just AQU just was mentioning you earlier today, saying he had talked to you. So good to hear you had the radio on, and wow. A Hamfest swap meet already this time of year. Well, that was a lucky find. And okay, on snagging some of that stuff from the Navy the Navy submarine storage locker. Well, yeah, you can never have too much. I'm not sure how much space you have there, Robert, but I get the impression that you're not lacking for space. So. Sounds good. And let's see, Chuck, okay, on the PRC 74. Yeah, we should be able to pull that off easy. And yeah, the 174. That's one thing. Would be nice if it had low power position, but it just has the fixed 20-watt position. But it's a pretty nice rig, especially like I say for CW. I mean, sideband is fine also, but for CW with both a wide and a narrow crystal filter, that kind of puts it in a category all by its own for a field radio backpack set. And yeah, okay, well, Chuck, when you do get the microphones from France and the Netherlands, we're expecting to hear a little bit of an accent to you when you're on the radio. And Bob, AQU, scrambling around for the fuse that blew somewhere. Dave, good deal on making the trip up towards Steve's neck of the woods for the 10 Tech haul. Okay, I'm sure you'll let us know how that worked out. And Steve, okay, on the RAO7. Yeah, I've got the one fully functional, and the other one that sadly was untouched. And then, well, we know what happened. Who touched it in a weak moment? And so, it's in miscellaneous pieces. I haven't got the heart to go ahead and try to work on it. But oh well. Anyhow. If anyone needs RAO7 parts, let me know. I got plenty of parts. So there you go, Steve. Jerry, Happy birthday to Sharon. Pass that along, and I hope you can keep her warm on her birthday instead of having to remember the birthday of 24 when we were bundled up inside the house. And yeah, it sounds like the pellet stoves as a whole is labor saving instead of hauling in and out the firewood, but you still end up paying for the technology, so you can never win. And Henry, good deal on, I was going to tell you, it sounded like you had the best of the 1625s in the MIT 1625 rig. That 5 watts made a difference, I'm sure. And Mike, okay, on the BC229, I wonder if it had, since you fired up, was it intact with the with its dynamotor, or did you have one of those hanging around? And good deal on saving it from a fate worse than death. It'll be in the Aircraft Museum of Golden Valley. All right, with that, 73s, guys, I plan on, having the PRC 174 box all stuffed together. Going to make a bezel for the 6-digit display. It's just all the tedious work that's really not fun, but I'll be good to get it done. All right, 73s, guys, good having everyone in there. With that, I'll pass it over to Fallon. Take it away, Rich. KE6QK, 2 inches away from the microphone, NU6F.
Yeah, NU6F in the group KE6QK. Well, it's gone up to a wonderful 36 degrees in the 40-mile desert. Sun's out. Wow, maybe I'll go swimming, I don't know. Comment on the QSB. All you local stations, Nevada, are solid. Hardly any QSB. It sounds like you're on 2 meters here. But going up to Grants Pass, Q5. But Robert, you had QSB between a 5 and a 7 on the 7300 receiver here. Totally Q5. So anything over a couple of 100 miles here in QSB, the locals are hanging tight. Really good, good, strong signals. One a comment to Dave. If you're still copying me, you had problems before. I used to live on Alameda Drive when I was in active duty at Moffett Field. I used to drive a commute from Livermore to Sunnyvale, and we were right there near the airport. So I don't know where you are in town, but I liked Livermore. At the time, in the 80s, it was really nice. That's all I have. 73 round. Really good net again, and thank you, Chuck. And I'll make it my 73s, but I will monitor. If I'm queried about anything, I will answer. So, K0DWC and the group, KE6QK.
Well, I guess I should pick it up, Chuck.
Yeah, Bob.
Okay. Very good, Rich. Yeah, I wasn't sure there was something else going on. Well, you're loud and clear, that transmission. Very good, all the way around there. Ron. Okay, another truck. That's got to be a lot of fun getting close to, who knows, be able to tool around the block. Let's see. I wanted to comment. Oh, yes, we went one off the air there. Blew a fuse, Ron, that's right. We put in a piece of 1/4-inch copper tubing. So that won't blow again. Probably had smoke, though. All right, I had another comment there, Jerry. Happy birthday to Sharon. Remember last time we were up there to your place when we picked up that Johnson 500? Sharon helped us load that thing in my van. What if you guys can remember that far back? Let's see. Bill, when you turned up the mic gain, it made a big difference. Thank you for that. And Robert, good morning to you. Well, my informant from Requiem says that he did not see you. Eagle Point Mike was there, buying up everything he could find. But I don't know why he didn't see you. But anyhow, he was wanting to know about the 28 and I guess he finally did find out that there was somebody first in line on that. So that brought up to mind that I no longer use my 28 ASNR. So I think he's going to end up with one somehow. He's all hot to trot. I had given him a couple of KSRs, so, and he's all excited about getting on teletype again. So with that, I will say 7-3 to all, and hope to be back next week. W6MQI, W6 Able Queen Uncle.
W6AQU, W6MQI. Alrighty, Bob. Well, I think Sharon probably helped you load that up because she was happy to get rid of it. Excuse me. Well, I'm getting some humming going here. I don't know what, that's a new sound. Alright, well, hopefully something doesn't blow up. Huh. Anyway, let's see here. Chuck, Steve, yeah, thanks for the auto report. Correct. I think I'm going to leave things the way they are. I mentioned possibly bypassing the audio transformer, but I decided not to do it. I'll leave things as they are. And Mike, the Tentec, our tuner is a Tentec 253. I've never heard of it before. I was looking on eHam. Looks like it sold for $1,050 back in 1995, so it's a fairly old model. Really, all I really wanted was the Titan amplifier, but my buddy said, "No, come here." Collecting dust in my garage, so we shall see how everything works. I used to have a Tentec Diamond 6 Plus. They were, man, if you're in the CW, excellent CW rig, excellent. But they do have their quirks. And Ron on the RAO parts, my NC101X, that slide RF deck, it appears there are 2 trimmer caps in there that somebody played around with. I don't know if they removed a couple plates or one plate or what. I haven't got to that point yet, but if you got any of those laying around, I might be in the market for a couple of those trimmer caps. And Rich, I live right next door to Alden Lane Nursery on the south end of town, so that's where I'm at. And good morning to Robert. Yeah, nice signal down here in Livermore today. Sounding really good. So, anyway, 73 to everybody, and talk to everybody next week. Grab my insulator rod here to hold the dial key down, and there we go.
W6MQI, W6SSP. Hey, if you're in the area, stop by. We'll do an eyeball QSO with you, and I think you have a lot of fun going through all the science here. There's a lot of it, too much of it, in fact. And Robert, congratulations on the WR3. I had a chance to pick up one of those last year, and I hemmed and hawed about that. Interesting receiver, but rather large and heavy. And I turned 69 this year, and I'm having to pay a lot more attention to my back. So we're out on the REO7. 75 pounds. It's a beast. Everything about that is heavy. Those were meant to be used on distilleries and battleships and stuff like that. And boy, they sure are built that way, I'll tell you. And they're heavy, and I've been hefting around R390As for quite a while now. But the nice thing about those is you can remove the power supply and the audio module and very easily. And they're not too bad to move after that, but can't do that with the REO7. I also have the RBH and the RBL, which are all three of them are very, very handsome receivers in my opinion. I wish I could set them all up on one bench along with a pan adapter. That'd just be a really neat setup. So let's see what else. Oh yeah, commenting about 1625s. Boy, back in the day, I think they were a quarter a piece for brand new ones. I forget if they were from Fair or Barry or somewhere else, but I used those exclusively when I was homebrewing transmitters back when I was very, very young. And I found out that using an old TV transformer with the 5 volt and 6.3 volt secondaries, if you put those in series, they'd drive filament just fine, no problem at all. And I made several different generations of transmitters on 80 meters that way, using color burst crystals. Pretty low cost, in fact no cost back in the day. Anyway, conditions are starting to fade, so we'll say 73 to everybody. Good to hear you all on, and see you next weekend. Over to Jerry, W6JRY, W6SSP.
Okay. Very good, Steve. W6SSP in the group, W6JRY. Everybody's still good copy. In fact, things picked up a little bit. And Robert was very strong down here. Good morning to you, Robert. W7MKA. Your signal was really pounding in here this morning. Well, I'll just roger all the comments. I don't have nothing more here. I can see I'm going to have a full day messing with the stove and other such things. Yeah, Bob, well, I don't remember how many of us were loading that transmitter. I do remember when you... I can't remember even how long that's been, but it's got to be 10 years anyway or more. But, well, anyway, that's why I've kept her for 68 years. She don't care what goes in or what comes in or what goes out as far as radios, antennas, whatever. She was never... too concerned about it, so anyway, that's the way that is. All right, over to Henry and 73s from Forest Ranch. WA7YBS in the group, W6JRY.
Okay, Jerry, W6JRY, WA7YBS. Okay, well, 73 on all, and there was another tube tester that was a real headache to use for testing one tube, and that was the TV2. And that's, I'm telling you, that thing is, it's neat, but at the same time, what a headache. Especially if you have like 10 tubes to test and they're all different. It's okay if it was all the same kind of tube and 10 of them, but if it's all, 10 different tubes, well, that'll take you a while. So anyway, yeah, the LQ3 is not that bad, but it's a lot of patch cords. It's kind of fun, but it's kind of weird too. And let's see, BC229, yes, I still have that Hulk. I took out the parts I needed, which were mechanical. It was those little chrome pieces that are in the front and in the back that hold the. I think they were part of the base, so you could actually mount it to the shock mount base. I needed those for the RU16. So the rest of it is intact, and I assume the one that you got is the lacking paint. It's the aluminum, all aluminum look to it. But you can fill me in on that part. But yeah, I know I used the RU16 a couple of times, and it's good to wait till about 8:30 till the band clears out, so the QRM is minimal. Because yeah, I picked up a lot of stations all at once. Anyway, sounds good. And hello to Robert, W7MKA, good signal down here, Q5. And, you know, not super powerhouse, but Q5, and that's the main part. So with that, I'll say 73. Everybody have a good week. I'll be net control next week. So with that, 73. Over to Mike, W7MS, WA7YBS.
Well, thank you, Henry, WA7YBS, and the Sunday Morning Military Net, W7MS. Yes, that is the light version in bare aluminum, and it's non-hamsterized, so good. And I'm glad that 229 provided parts for you. And no regrets on passing it on to Dayton, Nevada. So that's all okay. And good morning to Robert. Congratulations on the haul. I think it certainly was worth some mention. And some of the mention from Steve has been the weight of that receiver. So congratulations. Yeah, you're right, Henry. I meant to say TV2, not TV10, but you got it right on the interpretation. And that's all fine and doing okay. But I'm going to blame Ron, because he is the voice of Reno, and somehow he passed his, the last 2 Sundays he's talked about his rhinovirus symptoms, and he passed it on to me somehow via RF. It's amazing technology what it can do, but that's what I've been dealing with the last few days. But doing just fine this morning, relatively speaking, other than sleeping in, but that's about it. But I don't think there are any other further comments, but good hunting. A happy radio, and we'll see how Bill's doing. If Bill's still in the rotation here and in the reception mode. N6 BCT, W7MS. Everybody have a great day.
Yeah, W7MS and Bravo, and it's really nice to be able to passengers and take the time of the telephone. It's real nice to pass it in. Anyway, the guys at W7MKA, that's it.
Robert, W7MKA, Bill turned it over to you.
All right, no copy on Bill there. Let me make sure I've got it. All right, last man standing here, all stations signed, so 73s, and glad we caught you on here this morning. Yeah, okay, the receiver, it's really not all that bad. The WRR3 is about a third of the size of the WRR2, so it's, what exactly can we do? The record has to be, I don't know, for density, it has to be like a BC 312 or 342. I mean, it's not, they couldn't have packed more components into that box for too many more. I don't think I gave the equipment rundown. We're on our own BBB setup this morning. TCM transmitter with the RBB receiver, so big black wrinkles. I'm glad to hear that it's doing all right. I think I'm the last one, so back up to net control at K0DWC to take it, W7MKA.
Okay, Robert, W7MKA, K0DWC. Well, if you talk to John, MIT, give him our very best if you talk to him, will you, Robert? We really miss him on the net. So anyway, good net today, guys. Had a lot of folks this morning, and you guys are the ones that keep this net going. So thank you all for being there. We appreciate the support, definitely, and I want to thank everybody for participating this morning, and want everybody to come back next Sunday morning. So with that, Henry will be net control next week, as he had already said, and I'll turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So take care, guys. Have a good day. And 7-3s. This is K0DWC signing off.